There's the England team with the two changes that we've already mentioned about, Richard Cockrell and Darren Garforth coming in to the front row. And otherwise, it's the England team which drew with Australia 15 all without scoring a try at Twickenham last week. And there's the pack line-up, which will be very tough for them. You see Dalalio, the captain, there on the blind side flank. Diprose at the back. Johnson, the lock forward, who's locking with big Gareth Archer. And Jason Leonard in the front row. There's the back line. Kieran Bracken, who played in 1993 for England. Mike Catt, who's shifted around the back line in 3 positions. He's at first 5/8 today. And the 2 youngsters at the back, Perry and Rees. And we look at the first look at the New Zealand team with just 2 changes, with the return of Jonah Lomu, of course, number 11, and he's back in the tests for his 19th time. And the other change, of course, coming in with the number 7 position, Josh Kronfeld, coming back as the open side flanker. There's how the pack lines out. My word, there are some experienced players here, with perhaps Norm Hewitt, the inexperienced, the babe of them now, with only a couple of caps, and Tane Randall having his 10th start in a row as the blindside flank for the All Blacks today. And there's the back line with Justin Marshall at halfback and Mertens, the 2 Canterbury players in, and Lomu, the tremendous return of Jonah Lomu.
Hello, Keith.
So a lot of New Zealanders in the crowd today. Thousands and thousands of them coming up from London, and a tremendous atmosphere building up in this attendance. And you can see all getting set with a great sense of anticipation here in the ground for the game this afternoon. So the flag's waving for England, but Grant Fox, they're waving in quite a bit of hope today that they're going to be able to sort of stem the tide. A bit of pessimism around about the England performance.
Well, the general consensus about the English media, in fact, many of the English fans, is just not if England can win, but by how much they're going to get beaten, which is a bit sad, really. But great atmosphere at Old Trafford. The crowd sit very close to the touchline, so the players will certainly be aware of the noise.
So there's the Elves Cross of St George, and the cell phone in attendance. Goodness, what did we do without cell phones? And England team getting ready to play here. Don't forget, this is a bit of an away game for them as well. It's the first time Twickenham played a home test in England away from Twickenham since the Second World War. So England usually at home at the Twickenham, so they're away from their beloved HQ today, and they welcome the men in black to Old Trafford today. So outside the fields here, they certainly sell the flags in huge numbers, and New Zealanders, who I don't reckon are great flag wavers at home, they certainly identified themselves here with the scarves and the hats and the flags. And there's another example. I wonder if she'd wear that down Queen Street or Colombo Street, Grant.
Well, they maybe bought that on the way to the ground, because walking here earlier this morning, there was certainly a lot of merchandise available for sale.
I think Grant Fox in the merchandising business a bit there up in Auckland and around New Zealand understands the tremendous opportunities as we come to this famous ground, Old Trafford, where the great players of English soccer, George Best, the Charlton brothers, Dennis Law, Ryan Giggs, Eric Cantona, well, he was a Frenchman who came here, and of course Matt Busby and the famous Busby Babes of the 60s. Marvellous achievements have been seen in the soccer world on this pitch, but today it's rugby union, and it's a marvellous moment for Justin Marshall. How long do we keep calling him the stand-in captain if Sean Fitzpatrick is out? Second time he's been the leader of New Zealand in the test, and he comes down the corridor bringing a team which is hugely favourite to win this game, but the old story, they've got to do it on the field. The game's not played on paper, it's played on the wonderful turf of Old Trafford this afternoon. And there's the first camera look at Jonah Lomu as he's back, and what a wonderful moment it is for him after all the trauma he's had in the last year or so, and running onto this famous pitch. A tremendous moment. I can well, it looks like there'd be shivers up his spine, Grant.
Oh, he must be looking forward to this. He's worked very, very hard to get back from his illness. He's played well on tour so far, and he's back in the test side.
Surrounded, of course, with some of the old hands. Ian Jones there with Andrew Mertens. Christian Cullen, can we call him an old hand? It's his 20th test. He's never been dropped since he came back. And there's Josh Kronfeld. He gets down on that crouch position, which from the sideline sometimes looks like a last-minute prayer. And here's the England team, captained by Lawrence Dalalio, the Italian-born player who's qualifies for England because his father might have been Italian, but his mother was English. And the cheer starts for Lawrence Dalalio and England. Wonderful moment for Dalalio. He's the latest of 3 captains on the field today for England. They've got Phil de Glanville as well and Jason Leonard. But Dalalio in this season coming in with the new coach, Clive Woodward. And there he is, the fullback, Matt Perry, just 20 years of age. He made his debut last week, only a few months ago. He was out in Australia with the England under-21 team. And look at him now in front of the massive crowd here at Old Trafford to play at fullback and mark Christian Cullen. So there they are, the two teams on the field. The band is playing, and once again the cameras, B-Sky B telecasting this in Britain, and the cameras, I'm sure, will zoom in a lot on this band because there's a fascination about Lomu in England.
Oh, absolutely. Every time you open a newspaper or watch television, they're always talking about John Lomu.
So some pretty relaxed looking New Zealanders just looking along those paces there. And we're getting set for the national anthems. And perhaps the last wave of the flag before the kick-off for that particular man. Martin Toomey to the right, the physical trainer of the New Zealand team. You could see the emotion on the faces of the England players. Adedeo Adebayo there, you saw him. He'll be wearing the number 11 jersey today. A tear rolling down his cheek as his national anthem played. And this is certainly a marvellous moment. They call this the Theatre of Dreams. And on this field, with the soccer goals at each end, many great moments of sporting endeavour have taken place in the name of Manchester United. Today it's the All Blacks against England. And it's going to be one of those stand-off, eyeball-to-eyeball All Black huckers. That's Hewitt and Cockrell. Well, that's going to be one of the great personal battles. Norm Hewitt against Richard Cockrell. There he is, nicknamed Cocky. Cocky by nickname, cocky by nature. He's got a lot to say, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot from him in this game this afternoon.
I'd say he's also got a lot to learn. He's a babe in arms in Test rugby. Mind you, Norm Hewitt's not exactly experienced by New Zealand standards either.
And here's today's referee from Australia, Australian panel today, Peter Marshall in charge with the two touch judges, Wayne Erickson and Andrew Cole. And we are set with marvellous conditions. There's no wind. The wind doesn't close into the stadium. The ground is flat and even and cut fast, and it's going to be excitement, I'm sure, aplenty.
The All Blacks have taken the unusual position of going right on the kick-off, and I'm wondering if Andrew Mertens is going to switch the ball back to Donna Lomu's wing, and we're going to set Jonah off straight away.
Big space there, big space left.
So as you look at that picture, Lomu is right on the touchline on the right. Lawrence Dallaglio, captain of England, against the All Blacks. And swing low, sweet cherry, and they get Lomu into the game straight away. What a great moment for Lomu, his fans and his family, as the kick-off went to him, and that might be a signal, Grant Fox, that we're going to see a lot of Lomu this afternoon.
Well, they wanted him in the play early to welcome him back to Test rugby. The kick hung there, was very accurately directed by Andrew Mertens, and Lomu did get his hands on him, but the knock on there by Greenwood.
John McBeth's on the sideline this afternoon.
Get him in early, that was the call, obviously. They'll use him a lot. Outstanding conditions, as you've mentioned. No wind at all. The All Blacks hitting.
Slightly soft there, John, a bit of a scratch where the scrum was just a moment ago.
Just quite sandy there, so it won't cut up much. The surface, you can see some of the grass is lifted, but it's such an excellent surface. We might see it again after the scrum goes.
Yeah, good scrum early by the All Blacks. Brook into the set-up position. The runner's being used. No frills, just the targets and the switch back to the blind side.
Okay, so the man with the ball and the bald head has been doing a lot of tough talking this week. Here he is, Richard Cockrell.
The All Blacks will compete at the front on Jones, I believe. In fact, with Robin Brook, they're going to go up with both jumpers.
And up they go, trying to get the first tip. It's gone to Diprose down to the back, who's marking Zinzanbrook today. And there's a high kick towards Jonah Lomu. And through with him is Day Reese. Look to the referee, a knock on again.
Yeah, Jonah Lomu had the ball, but David Reese ripped it from his grasp, but lost control of it.
So that's the early story. We kicked to Jonah to get him into the game. They kicked to Jonah to put pressure on him.
Well, there is no question that they'll try and turn Jonah Lomu around. In fact, England will do a lot of kicking all afternoon, I would think.
Friendly little encounter between Martin Johnson and Ian Jones. Johnson coming through, waving elbows and arms everywhere, and Ian Jones has got this big grin on his face, which he's had since he ran onto the field.
New Zealand captain Justin Marshall kicks it. Steady start by New Zealand. Straight to Matt Perry, and he claims a fair catch back there.
And Marshall walked back straight away. He's not happy with his kick. Went just a little bit too far.
So here comes a look again at Lomu under pressure.
Well, he took it first, didn't he? But then David Reese got a hand in there. Just took it from Jonah's grasp.
Incredible difference in size between those guys. Something like 6 stone and 6 kilograms. 6 kilograms, I should say, between Lomu and Reese. Okay, Robin Brooks got that one right on the 5 metre mark. And here's a black drive. Marshall off the floor to Mertens. They've got Lomu outside Bunce. And Bunce is caught by de Glanville. So midfield didn't quite run smoothly. And there's a Marshall kick into space. Perry coming across, and Cullen is chasing through quickly. The two fullbacks meet.
Oh, and Christian Cullen straight over the hoardings. He's a tough nut, he'll get up. That's a great kick by Justin Marshall. He looked up from the second phase. There was no one back on the left for England. He saw Cullen on the chase. Good speed, as we know. Perry safely takes the ball across the touchline for England.
Good pressure by Cullen. So we can expect the first 15 minutes to be steady stuff from New Zealand, Grant?
Well, they showed a willingness to go wide straight away there. Robin Brook gets the ball for the second time.
Number 5 for England is Gareth Archer. It's back for Marshall. Out to Mertens. Alama Yaramia hitting hard into Mike Catt, number 10. Set it once again here. It's looking good. A bit crowded out to the right. Jeff Wilson over there.
Well, the All Blacks setting targets in the middle early, looking to recycle possession. The England defence is sure. We know they can defend well. They base a lot of their game around stopping the opposition scoring tries.
The hooker, who's big on self-belief, Richard Cockrell.
Argument between the touch judge and the hooker over where the mark is.
Surely the touch judge is the boss of that one, John. Up goes Martin Johnson. And there's Kronfeld getting an early start, and referee Marshall's onto him. He was out of the blocks.
The ball just got held in the boot of the ruck a little bit. 2 New Zealand loose forwards. Kronfeld particularly complaining he didn't hear a call, obviously. Catt will kick for touch.
There's the throw from Cockrell. And the jump from Martin Johnson. Remember, he's the ex-New Zealand Colt playing for England now, Martin Johnson. Married a girl from Taupo. Must be a good judge of life and everything in it. And up goes this time Gareth Archer. There's Bracken, Kieran Bracken. And there is open side flanker Richard Hill. Bracken, England moving it. Delan, this is Perry, the fullback. That's the halfway line. Here they are running it again. Adideo Adebayo, the man with a colourful name. Bracken, his number 8 is Diprose. And Catt has done a kick behind Lomu. This is a test for Jonah going back.
Well, it appears to me that while they're kicking the ball behind Lomu, and that's not unexpected, Reese's target is the ball. He's decided, I don't think he's going to try and take Lomu on physically. He's going to target the ball in his hands, and that's quite smart, really.
Some sort of emotion shown there.
Well, Woodward, a lot of pressure on him over the next, over the month that they've really taken on the best of the South Pacific, the best of Down Under. Olo Brown there in the front row. Number 3 there is Darren Garford, the prop. He's in against Craig Dowd. Olo Brown in against Jason Leonard. 22-metre line. Bracken, Catt, Greenwood for the first time. Nice tackle by Marshall on the 22 New Zealand header. There's Mertens, scrambles to his feet. Scrambles it towards Reese. And Reese is backed up by his captain. And there's Cockrell going in hard against Lomu, and Hewitt in hard against Cockrell. Shoulder to shoulder. Mike Catt now. Scrambling play. Here is Phil de Glanville, last year's captain. There's Richard Hill, number 7. Bracken. Away to Martin Johnson at first by 8. England are not playing it safe and sure. They're going in wide. This is a bit of a surprise. And Diprose, his pass to Perry might have been forward. Bracken kicking down towards Marshall, the two halfbacks. And look at this confidence from New Zealand. Cullen right on his goal line. Well, it was risky, but this is the confidence of this All Black team. And Marshall's kick goes over halfway. Here's Perry now. What a running game we're seeing. Zinzanbrook waiting for it. Lomu's out wide. Can he get a pass? The referee got skittled in there. He's up on his feet.
Coming in from the side, but it's furious and frantic at the moment. You saw the skills here. Marshall, good presence of mind, bit risky. But with this man, well, you're back into the first tackler. And away he goes. Surely going to get bottled up, which he does right now, but the All Black forwards in support very quickly.
So New Zealand taking it up to the touch from that penalty. And Norm Hewitt goes across to his opposite number there, Cockrell. That's going to be a great battle. Now at the back here we've got Richard Hill, number 7. And there's Norm Hewitt. It's a bit cool this afternoon. It's a lovely day. But I think it'll get cool around about half-time. Hewitt throws. And that's one on the England side. Tipped on by Gareth Archer, the big lock forward, number 5. Halfway line. Bracken. Cat. Adebayo. And he got well and truly blocked. And here is Zinzanbrook with a kick. Deep. And that's worth 40 metres. Great kick by number 8.
Well, what do you expect? He's got to have one kick again, but it was a good option. I'm sure he'll be disappointed it went out, though.
I remember one kick he did against England. Grant, do you remember that one? Cape Town.
About 45 on the fly, worth 3 points. Look at it again. There's actually some space on his left, but I don't think he got a call.
Up on the sideline, the Doc has just called down John Preston to warm up, so I'm not too sure where the problem is there. There's a question mark over one of the halves, maybe.
Well, Preston is the utility man. Cockrell throws. And that's a penalty against New Zealand. There's pushing in there. Oh, it's a penalty for New Zealand.
They're pushing at the front of the line out. I do think this will be a shot at goal. Mertens is coming up. The forwards are coming to the middle, so Justin Marshall has signalled already.
So he's pushing at the front of the line. He said number 2, but I think he meant number 2 in the line. Now let's look. Yeah, it was actually number 3, wasn't it? Garforth. Well, good no.
Most times the forwards don't know either. Certainly hard for us here in the commentary position. An early chance for Mertens. 15 metres in from touch. No wind to speak of today at all. Kicking conditions are perfect.
What a game he had last week. 33 points against Ireland. And he's bended out to the right and it hasn't swung around. No goal. No score. Crowd cheers. 11 minutes gone.
He just came off this a little bit, looking for the curl. He won't get much today. It needs to be aimed at the middle.
So Cat's kick is down to England. They're getting a lot of early possession. I'm sure you'll agree with that. Out to Cat again. And he skied one this time to a bouncing ball. Cullen and Hewitt back there. So Cullen has a kick as well. He just pushes it up towards Cat and then hits Cat hard with a tackle. A loose ball.
That was a great follow-up by Cullen.
He's done it twice now in the early stages, John. Put pressure on them.
Yep.
And here's England again moving it. Now, Adebayo has a bit of space. Doesn't take on Wilson. There's Delalio, the popular captain. And Lomu is very good on the catch. Now Lomu against Rees for the first time, and he loses him. Lomu's back. Tremendous run by Lomu. The crowd loved that one. He left David Rees standing. Marshall, Mertens, bunch left out. Zinzanbrook's out there. Floats it out to Wilson. Jeff Wilson with Jones with him. Jones, a glorious try. Ian Jones, a wonderful try, started by the run by Lomu.
Oh, this is superb stuff. Mike Catt didn't get enough purchase on the kick. Lomu had time and space, and that's all he needs, and away he goes. Look at the determination on his face. Comes infield very cleverly here because they were lining up the sideline. He goes to ground. Support comes here. Good wide pass by Mertens. Brook, good vision. Adebayo had come in to spot Ulama Ramia. Wilson, good hands. He just lines up Ian Jones on the inside. This is a brilliant start for New Zealand.
What a wonderful try by Ian Jones, his 8th in a test. And look at the New Zealand reserves on the sideline of the replay. And the kick is right out on the sideline. You've got to commend the early attitude by England, but they cannot make mistakes like that. And here's the kick from Mertens from the side. It looks good, and it is 7-0. England are punished by the men in black.
Clive Woodward will be most upset with his kicker that time because they don't want to give Lomu ball with a bit of space, and that's exactly what Cat did with that kick through, and Lomu just made the most of it.
Have a look at Mike Cat here. He hung back for a wee bit, then he went in high. Remember Cape Town in 95? Lomu went straight through him and then through Underwood, got the glorious try. Somehow I get the feeling, John, Lomu's back, all's well with the world.
Seems that way, doesn't it? And he's got that big grin on his face. He knows there's so much expected of him. He knows he's going to be marked up. He knows the crowd want him to be tackled. But they also know what a great performer he is, what an artist, what an entertainer. And Cat will be wary of his next kick, I'd say.
Bracken, Cat, don't write him off. He's a good player. Kicked out towards Adebayo, and Wilson balances it beautifully on his fingertips and sends it into the crowd.
Well, England doing very much what the All Blacks did early in the game. Set a target in the midfield, switch it back the blind side. They still kick the ball low. It seems to be pretty much a first tendency, a first thought process. Wilson just goes back, plenty of speed, a little bit of time, safely to touch. Well, it's hard to think that England will do anything else with this line out than try and drive it. They'll probably look for Johnson at the front, maybe Archer in the middle.
Oh, that's a shocker on attack like that.
That's right, and Tane Randall took that one, and now Mertens will clear. Okay, here is Perry trying to build it up from the back. He runs away from his support and he gets taken to the touchline.
That's exactly what the All Blacks wanted, and I'll bet you anything you like, Andrew Mertens wasn't aiming for touch. He was looking beyond halfway. He's got a huge punt on him. Perry did well here. This is a good bit of skill. But there was a big line of All Black defenders. Perry chose a wise option, going to the safety of the touchline where not much could go wrong, but he's given the throw to the All Blacks.
That's right, one of their methods is to seldom find touch. Just keep it infield so that the opposition put it out.
Pass out to Lomu. Gets it clear to Cullen. Cullen is caught by Cat. That's a great tackle by Mike Cat. Chased hard. It's still with the All Blacks. Marshall, away to Lomu. Crash ball by Jonah. He's in the game. He's back. 22-metre line. Zinzanbrook makes the pass. Straight to Frank Bunce. 22-metre line.
They might have turned him there. No, they've won it.
Marshall. Alama chips high, but it's gone straight to Matt Perry. And Perry claims the fair catch. He's overkicked that one.
Yeah, bad option, Alama Ramia. The All Blacks are dangerous with the ball in hand. Look at John Alama. He did well. The play 2, the miss 3. Cullen down the outside. This is a planned move. Cullen got good speed, but Cat was across and cover. They're obviously playing flat behind the defensive line, and that's a good tackle on Christian Cullen by Mike Cat. Short line out by the All Blacks. The Lucies are in the midfield, outside Alama Iramia.
Jones, Marshall, Mertens, Frank Bunce. He's got Kronfeld with him. And Marshall now, Mertens. He's got 4 out to his right. That's on again here. 4-1. Robin Brook. Wilson in. Jeff Wilson, who had such an unhappy time last time he was in England playing against England, has scored a try. That's the second brilliant expression of rugby. Jeff Wilson, his 24th try in Test matches.
Well, the All Blacks are on fire at the moment. Quick second phase ball is the key here across the advantage line. Forward replay. Mertens changed the angle of attack. Lined the forwards up in the middle. We had a couple of forwards too. Robin Brook. Good ball skills though, our players. Ian Jones is there with him. Adebayo had come off his line. That was enough for Wilson. And isn't he happy about that?
You don't expect forwards to sort of think like that. He just drew the defence and set Wilson away.
It was just enough here. Adebayo had a look inside, tried to target. That's all Jeff Wilson needed. Puts him outside Adebayo and over.
Jeff Wilson, he has had a wonderful year in rugby, but remember that in 1993 at Twickenham when they lost, he had to do the dropouts, he had to do kickoffs from the halfway, the shots for goal. He was only 19 years of age. Mertens has put this one away to the right. So a wonderful try by Wilson, unconverted by Mertens. It's 12-0. A great start by New Zealand. We're going to see it again. I think one thing we can always bank on, Grant, you're always going to get a good pass from one of the Brooks.
Absolutely. Robin Brook lining up the guys outside him. Did it very well indeed.
Perfect play from Robin Brook. Gives the All Blacks their second try. Jones and Wilson have scored so far. They're up by 12 points to 0. It's been a frantic first 20 minutes.
Now here's Perry on the attack. 20-year-old meets the 35-year-old Frank Bunce.
Look at the aggression in the All Black attack, and we saw that at Huddersfield on Tuesday night. When they've got a chance to turn a guy over, they pile in very quickly, go forward and secure the ball. Now what's the bet? Zinzan Brook might be looking for John Alomo on the left. Cullen is standing behind the scrum.
So Zinzan Brook takes it away to the right, up to the halfway line. Carried on by his brother, who made that wonderful run just a moment ago. Taken back by Archer.
Well, Cullen had come up on the left to join Lomu. I think that may have been the way to go.
Yeah, they were looking for the midfield setup, then to switch it very quickly. But perhaps the All Blacks took it one ruck too far.
Tony Diprose here. This guy's the captain of Saracens, and in his team that he captains, Francois Pina, Michael Liner and Philippe Salah. So he has some quality in his club team. Here's Jonah, very secure in his hands. And the big man. Up to the 22. It's there for Marshall. Runs straight into Jason Leonard, and that's a formidable sight in front of him, and they lost it.
Yeah, no call. I think Justin Marshall was looking for a call from somebody. He didn't get one. A little bit of hesitancy. This is Pat missing touch. The run from Lomo. Gee, they're obsessed with him over here. Even the cameramen seem to be that way, following all the time. But he's making the advantage line every time he carries the ball forward.
And you see the two men on him there, Grant, which creates a bit of space with 14 against 13 elsewhere on the field. And there's Dalalio. Caught by Zinzan Brook. There's a Cockrell. Away to Cat. Change of direction. Change again to de Glanville. Here is Greenwood. And there's a chance for England now for penalty points. What are they going to do?
I wonder.
Oh, this is England. Yeah, sorry. They'll shoot for goal.
Well, they should too. A good period of pressure by England. They had the ball for a little while. Forced an offside play by the All Blacks, and Cat gets a relatively simple shot at goal.
And I think they'll also be disappointed, Grant, as we see the replay once more. The previous kick towards touch, which didn't go out, was a penalty. They were going to be 5 metres out from the line with their own throw-in, so they really needed to find touch then. These points are some compensation.
So Mike Cat is in his 25th Test match since he came from South Africa, born in Port Elizabeth. And he has missed it from there. He has blooped it, and he's disappointed. Kicks it away, throws the tee away in disgust. No change, 12-0.
Well, there must be some butterflies in his stomach. He's usually a very reliable goal kicker, and that he just absolutely fatted that to the left. He will not be happy.
That's a new verb for you, John.
Yeah.
He fatted it.
Yeah. Well, let's hope it doesn't put him off his game. He's got to get that out of his mind now, because he's a much better goal kicker than that, as we know. They've just got to settle again. 22 minutes gone. New Zealand still leading 12 points to 0.
Hearts must be jumping in the England team. And Zinzan's kicked it to open space here. Reese and Perry coming back, the two new caps last week. And there's a left foot of Perry away to touch. He's strong on the left foot side.
Well, natural left foot up. But the net gain for the All Blacks is a throw-in, which is what Brook was looking for. Here he is, the natural left foot up. Times the ball well.
It's a local Manchester lad is Matt Perry. This is not a particularly strong rugby union area, with the two great soccer clubs here, Manchester United and Manchester City, and great rugby league area just out of the city in the north. Marshall to Mertens, and here's the high up and under to Test. Perry at the back. Wilson coming in for the jump as well. Wilson tipped it back. Taken by Jeremiah. It's back on the England side. Kieran Bracken. And here's Cat kicking back to open space, and he's mishit this one too. And Cullen at the back. He's got three ahead of him. And he's caught by Richard Hill at halfway. 12-0 to the All Blacks. 23 minutes gone. 24 gone.
Andrew Blower's warming up on the sideline.
Going from an offside position. Quick tap by Bracken.
Good run by Bracken. Marshall's onto him. And it's back on the New Zealand side. Out to, there's a loose one out in front of the goal. And Jeremiah gets a kick away to touch. That's a good save by Alama.
It is a good save, but the back line was a bit disorganised. We saw that a little bit against Ireland. At times they didn't have a back line when they needed one. This is a quick tap by Bracken. Good thinking. He made space. He didn't have the support there quickly enough, though. That allowed Shane Randall, I think it was. This is Jeremiah under pressure, gets the kick away and safely the touch.
There is an injury break now.
So Robin Brooke with bloodbin maybe, bit of blood on the head.
In fact, having a meeting here behind with the captain, Dalalio. And the Swing Low Sweet Chariot begins in the crowd, which indicates a lot of the true English rugby supporters are here. So they brought the song from Twickers all the way up to Manchester.
What a sight that is. 55,000 at Old Trafford, jammed to the gunnels.
Well, it's pretty well packed every week, isn't it? With the great soccer club here, all seated, no standing room. Cockrell throws. Up goes Gareth Archer. Gives it away to Garforth. Two big Leicester props. Two big Leicester men in the front row there with Garforth and Cockrell. And it's going to be a penalty against Sinzan. No. It's a scrum for England.
Well, Brooke came from an onside position from behind the hindmost foot. He dived through his. The drive from England. They did this efficiently. The take. They wheel it towards the open side. Garforth comes in.
So will they go to the left, to the back line, or to the right, to David Reese's twinkling feet?
Well, Perry's up on the right. The scrum had wheeled. They had to take it to the left.
Diprose, he says he greatly admires Zinzan Brooke. And Diprose took them on there, and his opposite number is penalised there.
Well, Kronfeld had snared the ball. He was on his feet, but the penalty went against another couple who went over the top. So here's another opportunity for Cat. No, he's going for touch.
Well, this is a change. England, who do a lot of their points building, a lot of their points production, is on those early penalties, those first half penalties.
Well, it's either an enlightened move by England or Cat is not confident.
Well, they did do that a lot in the emerging England game, didn't they? Went for touch, but the game was well out of their grasp by then, so this is an encouraging sign from England.
So that's an aggressive captaincy from Lawrence Dalalio.
Now will New Zealand compete?
Just at the front.
The crowd roar, a great take by Dalalio, but no one was jumping against him. A whole new culture in lineouts now. Bracken, Cat, cut out passes. De Glanville, Adebayo, and he's caught. And that's Josh Kronfeld, who's been pinned by referee Marshall.
Yeah, well and truly, he wasn't on his feet either, so there was room for a double penalty. But he was there. Nevertheless, no shot here either. Another line-out move by the English coming up.
Wasn't the communication great in that backline defence, Grant? Cullen was way up wide. Everyone knew their target. The tackles were made.
Yeah, very accurate, wasn't it, John? This time the All Blacks will not compete. Nowhere in the line-out. They will try and repel the English drive, which inevitably they will try and put on the All Blacks.
So Cockrell in his second starting test for England, +2 as a substitute. There's his throw to Archer. Here's Hill, 5 metres out. Coming to Bracken, to Cat. And there is Dalalio out there. And that's about 3 or 4 penalties in a row from referee Marshall against the New Zealanders in those situations.
Yeah, that was a tough one. While a penalty was warranted, 7-2. There always seems to be more penalties against the men in black.
And conceded, though, this time. I think that's 7 against New Zealand.
That's what I mean. It's heavily against New Zealand most of the time.
So Dalalio this time, here he is, number 6 Dalalio, has signalled a shot at goal this time from Mike Cat.
Let's look at this. Here they go, and Dalalio bumps off Kronfeld. Kronfeld gets up and then gets blown over by the support players coming in behind. And while the penalty's warranted, very hard for the players to stay on their feet in that situation.
How quiet will it be now for this?
This man will be a bit nervous at the moment, I feel, after having missed a very easy one. He would normally expect to get this. You see just a little mouth come on.
And that's a second miss from right out in front, virtually. Cullen. And that one hit the post, bounced away, so it's bad luck, but it's a miss. So it's still 12-0. Half an hour gone. Back to Mertens for the clearance. And that's an excellent clearance right up to the halfway line. Look at that. Excellent kick by Mertens. He's on song as well.
Yeah, good defence by the All Blacks, though. Kicks that bounce off and upright can be very dangerous. Mertens has kicked that 50 on the fly and gained the All Blacks about 40 metres.
Well, Dalalio and Cat, some difficult decisions now. Twice he's kicked for touch, twice he's kicked for goal, and no points on the board.
Well, he's just not timing them. Technically, he doesn't look too bad, but he's just hitting the ball with no timing at all.
Last week he missed the first 4, Grant, then he was concussed and then kicked the next 5. So we'll see if it's a repeat. Here is Greenwood, the new young centre, is through to the 22. Will Greenwood, Diprose, passes it straight to Robin Brooke. Just outside the 22, it's on the England side. And Hands took it to the side of the Whites.
Yeah, the desperate dive by Zinzan Brook, just clipping the heel of Greenwood. We'll see it again. He found a big gap, didn't he? And suddenly Zinzan just clipped him, slowed him down enough. But that was a fine move by England.
The New Zealand penalty hasn't found touch. Adebayo there. Cut. Cat and de Glanville now. Greenwood again. He's slipped past Frank Bunce. Diprose to Cat again. He's in the game a lot. And now Perry's up from fullback. But my word, that's laboured passing out there by England. They'll be very disappointed at that. That's a very poor backline move by good international standards. But here they go again. Bracken this time to the captain. Delalio to halfway, caught by Olo Brown. Bracken, fast ball, Cat. Diprose. And there is Justin Leonard. Good play by England. Phil de Glanville, the former captain. And they're not getting any momentum or depth in their passing. Here they go again. Bracken. He's pushed a deep kick. Jeff Wilson is running back. And Wilson against Adebayo. Kicks it past him and out. So what do you think of all that passing, Grant?
Yeah, it was laboured, and I think that was the right call. Quite foreign to them at times. They have some very skilled players, some fine players, but they had numbers on the right. They looked at Frank Bunce and John Alomo and said, uh-oh, don't want to go that way, and took it back to the forwards, where I guess they feel a little more comfortable.
Olo Brown in making the tackles there too in that sequence. Scott McLeod warms up on the sideline. Blowers and Rickleman have both gone back to the bench. Scott McLeod warming up with a beanie on.
Bracken. Cat. Greenwood has been tried again. He nearly got through. He's been through twice. But the defence worked this time. Bracken digs deep. Cockrell. Cat. Again coming back towards the traffic. And there's the big hand from Ian Jones. And Nevada's playing here. Perry kicking through. But he's kicked it too far. The referee might come back for the penalty. And he does.
Well, the move was good here by England. Good clean line-out take by Archer. Flat move. The decoy of Adebayo pushed across for Greenwood. He's looked very good as well, Greenwood. The one England back who's making the advantage line.
That's third time lucky.
Third time lucky for Mike Cat. Justin Marshall, the New Zealand captain, is in there in the little shot on the 22. He's talking to referee Peter Marshall. And Mike Cat, as you miss these kicks, Grant, it gets worse, I guess.
Well, you want to hurry it up a little bit. That's what happens. You tend to think, gee, I want to get out of here quickly. And at times when it's not going so well, what you really need to do is probably take a little bit more time, a couple of deep breaths, concentrate a little bit harder.
Well, as I said, he missed the... There's Clive Woodward, the coach, coming down to the sideline. He missed the first 4 last week, then kicked 5, and then he had a chance late in the game to win the game against Australia, and he missed that one. Mike Cat. So, he's landed the goal. England are on the board. It's 12-3.
Well, that's better. The left shoulder was a little more forward, swung through it nicely, good contact.
So Mike Cat jubilant after that one. He's missed 2 easier kicks, but he gets the third, so England on the board. About 5 minutes to go until the break. The All Blacks 2 tries, leading by 12 points to 3 from Old Trafford on One World of Sport.
Yes, so we'll be here every Sunday throughout this marvellous sequence of tests. Ireland last week, England today, Wales next week from Wembley, and then England again from Twickenham.
2 tries to 0, 12-3.
So Dipper is caught there by Randall. Bracken. Cat. Greenwood, they've seemed to have sorted him out after those 2 early breaks, but they're trying a lot of him. Here's a penalty for New Zealand. Not allowing the release. Now here's indication of what New Zealand's thinking is. Will they have a shot?
Well, just not numbers there for England quickly enough. New Zealand will take the points on offer. And looking to Andrew Mertens to gain them an extra 3. Look at Randall coming forward here on Diprose. Muscles him backwards. They seem to be in super slow-mo mode at the moment. And here's Cronfeld. Look at him. Wrestles Greenwood to the ground and gets up straight away. 2 All Blacks there very quickly. Greenwood holding on too long. That's the reason for the penalty.
That's classic number 7 playing the modern wheel. Grant tackled him onto the ground, straight to his feet.
Well, that's the expertise of Cronfeld. Gets to his feet very quickly and then competes for the ball.
I think he flattered him.
Mertens from 40 metres. Yep. And over it goes. New Zealand 15, England 3. 4 minutes to go till half-time.
The New Zealand fans delighted with the way the game has gone so far. 2 fine tries by Jones and Wilson. Mertens has added the extras. His first penalty takes the All Blacks out to 15 points to 3. Been a fine first 40 minutes at Old Trafford. And England have played with a lot more confidence than a lot of people thought they would. Mike Catt, 1 penalty so far, 2 misses with the restart. 3 to go till half-time. England getting plenty of ball.
And the referee's mic, we heard him say playing advantage. Tells us a little message that he's from Sydney, Australia. Now play on now, he says. Marshall up to Hewitt. So they roll it away. And now Bunce coming towards Mertens. Now Perry is back behind his 22, and he'll see what happens here. He'll take his time with it. Matt Perry, the 20-year-old. And Zinsan's got it back. And of course, we go right up the field. Crowd is hooting.
Well, that's a left to right hook. That's what happens on the spiral. The ball clearly crossed the touchline, quite a bit closer to Greenwood than where the ball landed. The All Blacks will be looking for extra points here just before half-time. Wayne Erickson, familiar sight for New Zealand rugby fans. You see the curl on the ball just over the touchline, but it crossed just outside the 22.
So the line-out move is down towards Ian Jones. It's fast ball. Zinzan Brook is thrown down by Diprose. A kind of a hip throw. There's the 22-metre line. Haven't scored for about 20 minutes now, New Zealand. Not that we're complaining with a 15-3 lead, 2 tries to 0. And there's a droppy on its way from Mertens. The referee in good position, and it's just outside.
Well, there's just a couple of players hanging around the fringe of the ruck, and it's causing Justin Marshall some problems. The clearance needs to be quicker to Mertens so he can look to his back line.
It's giving the opposition too much time to get up on him, and Marshall stopped and had to look and avoid one of the players standing off before he found Mertens. Just a minute to go until half-time. The All Blacks up 15 points to 3.
And that's another bad kick by Catt. He's kicked it right into the midfield, and it was clearly easily taken by Bunce. Now Mertens. Now to Cullen. Cullen. He has Alama Yeremia with him. Cullen goes for the gap. Taken by the England captain, Lawrence Dallaglio. Marshall. Spinning out to Kronfeld now. That's Richard Hill out there, and he looked offside. Where's the referee's arm going?
No, Hill sprinted. He timed it well, actually.
That's the half-time break. 2 tries to Ian Jones and Jeff Wilson, plus the Mertens penalty. Gives New Zealand 15. And Mike Catt, a penalty for England late in the half, 15-3. It's been a pulsating first minute here on One World of Sport from Old Trafford in Manchester. And we'll be back shortly with the second half.
The All Blacks with 2 tries in the first spell lead by 15 points to 3. Notice that the England team have made a change with Neil Back coming on for Richard Hill. For Tony Diprose, in fact, the number 8. So there's Back now, ready to get into the action. 40 minutes left at Old Trafford, 15 points to 3.
One World of Sport in Manchester. And the All Blacks unbeaten. 35 tries they've scored on this tour before today. Makes 37 now. They've only conceded 3. And they lead by that margin John mentioned, 15-3. Keith Quinn, John Macbeth and Grant Fox for the One World of Sport team. And the early phase of play, we see the role of number 18, Neil Back. This is his first appearance for England since the World Cup in '95. And Cullen waiting for this one. And Cullen has it safely. That was a very good catch. And Neil Back must be penalised there for interfering and then not going back 10 metres. So that's the kind of thing you might see from Back.
Oh, that's typical Neil Back. He'll spend all day offside. The All Blacks looking to speed the game up. I'm sure they got that message from John Hart at half-time.
Ola Brown making a good run into his prop forward mate. And there's the New Zealand replacement. That's Norm Hewitt with a new change of jersey. So the front row are really working hard here out into the backs. Bunce. And Kronfeld there with him, and they've ripped it back. And here it comes with Wilson at scrum half. Away to Marshall. Deep pass. It's going to be a kick through, a flat kick. Adebayo has it. A very nice pick up. And there is Craig Dowd, unfortunately lost it forward.
Well, Clive Woodward at the break, I heard him saying this is a much better effort from England than was the case against Australia last week. He did say he's a little bit concerned that they're committing too many forwards to the rucks and mauls and leaving New Zealand a bit too much space.
Very good pick up there by Adebayo. Remember, he's the man on the England rugby team who's played in a Ranfurly Shield match. Came back to New Zealand for a while for Southland, played against Canterbury.
Again, I see blowers warming up.
Tommy Beth on the sideline catching all the action, and we are really pleased to be here at Old Trafford.
Well, that's a good pick from Mike Catt. He set himself well. Saw him practicing before the match, trying to get the spiral punt going, and he did it well on that occasion.
Members there of the New Zealand youth team, which played last night, the Nike New Zealand youth team, the first game of the tour against the Northern Division. And as we look at the replay here of Cat's kick, and the Nike New Zealand youth team beat Northern Division by 45-15 at Sale last night. And we're delighted that Inga Tuigamala and Mike Brewer came into the dressing room afterwards and congratulated them on their play.
And that's leaning on the jersey. Took Robin Brooke right out of the game. Andrew Mertens. It's the second time he's missed touch from a penalty.
And so there's David Rees. Now he's from the Sale club, not far from here, and that's a lovely deflection in field to Matt Perry. So just a young fella.
Short line out option again for the All Blacks.
Change of direction. Ola Brown, whose second good run goes into Cockrell. Haven't seen so much of Cockrell since the big confrontation at the haka. And there is Hewitt. And there's Mertens, a high one this time. Perry's coming forward, and Alama Yeremia is there as well. And taken by Darren Garforth, but lost forward now. Good midfield position for New Zealand from the scrum.
Yeah, they'll be looking to attack here. England knocking the ball on. A short line out, trying to get rid of the pushing. Olo Brown down the short side. And the All Blacks, as we come back, are lined up as a back line directly behind the scrum.
Cameras didn't catch it. They're now moving to the right. And good tackle by de Glanville. Marshall. Another good tackle going in by Adebayo. And here's Kieran Bracken. Away to Garforth, up to halfway. Bit of fire in the England camp in the second half. There's the captain, Delalio. And it's Archer over the halfway line, supported by Cockrell. Bracken off the floor, deep kick by Cat. He's been a big personality in the game. Now Lomu has not had much of the ball running his way, and Jonah puts in a big kick from back there. Not one of the great ones.
But it's out. And that was the right option. This is Justin Marshall sniping down the short side. Good tackle by Adebayo. And the All Blacks didn't quite get to Marshall quickly enough. Here it is again. It's a good tackling technique.
Goodness me, oh, look at this, the great vociferous reaction on the bench for England. Clive Woodward, the new coach. And there's a kneel back. And there's Leonard taking out Marshall. Blowing over the top. Bracken. Cat. Greenwood left out. Delalio. Pass to Perry. And Adebayo is caught by Wilson. Had him under control all the way, but good aggressive back play by England. Cat now. The captain. Cat. Turning it back inside all the time. Now will they take it wide?
They've got no backs. Now they have.
Adebayo is there, caught by Yeremia, and they were offside. England have a penalty. New Zealand up offside.
It's a high tackle, I think. I think that's what the call is. He wants it down. That's the signal. Keep it down. Well, that's a good passage of play by England. Getting across the advantage line, stringing some passes together. But the All Black defence held. Here it goes. Good move by England. This is the best back move they've had. The wide pass. Jeff Wilson had it covered all the way, but nevertheless was well executed, and they got well in behind the advantage line of the All Blacks. Good support coming. And here's the tackle. Adebayo coming in. Yeremia climbs just a little bit. Well, he rode up. In rugby league terms, that'd be okay. In rugby terms, it's penalty. It's a penalty.
Seven minutes into the second half, Mike Cat. And he's had one success, and now that's 3 misses. And he is very disappointed, but that's very disappointing kicking from him, very poor kicking at this crucial stage of a test match. Disappointment there on the face of Mike Cat. But the dropout goes to Adebayo. And Cullen waits under it outside the 22. And he's hammered by the big winger, number 11, Adebayo. And here's Marshall. Perry is back. Now Perry's running towards open space. Cat. This is Rees. And there's a forward pass, and the referee's picked it up.
Well, Perry ran right away from where the hole was, which is quite unbelievable. The hole was wide on the right. And he came, this is the latter part of the play. All Black defence coming forward again, and there is the forward pass. Cullen is behind Mertens, and perhaps they'll be looking to come right. Cat is defending the left-hand side of the scrum for England. Cullen is sneaking up on the right.
Mertens and Cullen having a good chat. Here, Cullen drifting right, now heads back left.
Good hit by Greenwood there at the halfway line. So the England tackling fierce, a good aggressive defence from them.
Yeah, better in the second half. And passing just a little bit laboured that time by the New Zealand back line. Needed to be a bit sharper, and there was options on the left.
And there's Will Greenwood, the youngest of the new caps last week. They had 5 new caps last week and only forced a draw with England at 15 all. Frank Bunce might have taken quite a hit out there.
You see, Lamia just juggled the ball a little bit. That's a good tackle by Greenwood. Uramia was really in an offside position, but the first defence was called, which was the knock-on.
So here is Martin Johnson. Surprise choice to go to South Africa with the... so here's Grewcock. Now, he played in the game midweek against New Zealand. Danny Grewcock. But looks like Johnson's okay. And a good scrum from New Zealand there. Delalio caught, nearly intercepted away by Marshall. The referee's whistle has gone. Well, I think if he'd caught that one, he might have been away.
Well, pressure on the scrum by the All Blacks, but this is well worked. Delalio into back, who was in space himself. Marshall did get in the way and deflect the ball away.
There's that smile from Olo Brown, directed at his opposition in the front row. There's Richard Hill. So here's the halfway line, and Delalio's away. And someone's lost their boot. And a good tackle on there by Ian Jones on Bracken. And now here they go again in the England backline. Here's Will Greenwood, who's looked pretty sharp today. And out to Wilson on the right. But the winger, Adebayo, is offside. He's not happy about it.
Well, I've never seen a penalty change, so there's no point arguing.
So there's a bit of a stoppage there with David Abercrombie on the field and Martin Toomey.
Yeah, looking at Josh Cromfeld, he was a bit slow getting up to his feet then, but he just shook his head, waved them away.
And that's another penalty by New Zealand to touch. They changed the kick at that time because Mertens is down getting his boot replaced, and again they didn't find touch. Sinzan Brook goes into Marshall there. Now they've got the setup here. What will happen for this one? Yaramia, he turns it to Randall. Randall takes the tackle 55 metres out. No change since half-time. It's 15-3. There's Alama Yaramia. Now some big muscle going into the game as Norm Hewitt, now wearing number 18, goes forward.
Sinzan Brooks coming off.
Look at the replay here. Sinzan takes it, then plays a big charge into his into Gareth Archer.
You know, arms in the tackle. That was cause for penalty. Tane Randall will go to the boot of the scrum.
So here's it going out to Lomu, who's come to the right wing now. Lomu and Wilson down the same side. And there's a tremendous cheer because Mike Catt has tackled Lomu. And here's Wilson at scrum half. Away to Alama Yaramia. A bit of an extra man here, but Cullen's tipped it forward. They're not playing well at the moment, New Zealand. They've had a bit of a lapse in the last few minutes, not finding the touches and losing the ball in the backs.
Yeah, their ball control has not been very good for periods during the match at all, and that's another example. The backs got confused. Cullen came in for a short ball. The space was actually wider, and I think Bunce was initially looking for him there. Greenwood had drifted on to Cullen. Cullen needed to be wider and use his speed.
So this is de Glanville. And a lovely move, puts Perry into space. Perry ran well there, and England looking good in the second half. Catt. Now they've turned it back into the forwards. I can't believe that. That was on for a try out wide, surely. 22-metre line. Here they go again. Mike Catt, another kick. And Marshall is back for the fair catch.
Well, they blew that to face before. They had time and space on the right. They're doing things very well in the second half, England, but sometimes their options are not very good. Here's the set move. Good lines by Perry. He's an exciting youngster. They rate him very highly in England. Lots of support back there for the All Blacks. And the move dies.
Yes, that was unbelievable, really. The correct option was to really hammer it wide because they'd driven it up twice. The backs had got back in numbers, and they may well have had an extra back out there if they'd had the quick hands. Instead, they went for the chip.
Will Greenwood having a good game in the midfield. He's a dangerous player.
Yes, he and Perry have looked sharp, haven't they?
Some good young talent here. They've got Matt Perry, Dave Rees, Will Greenwood, all new caps last week. Although Greenwood did go, remember, as an uncapped player on the Lions tour. In fact, 22 England players went on the Lions tour. Cat. They're getting a bit jumbled in the midfield there.
So blowers on the field for Zinzambrook. Blowers wearing 18.
England guilty of holding the ball. That's Adebayo. Gone in to the setup here on the inside. He hadn't made the advantage on the All Blacks. Forward in and tried to get across the ball. Adebayo held on to it, didn't let it go.
There's a kick for touch by Mertens, and that one's well back into the crowd, so there's applause there. That one did find the line.
And make sure of it. Another change perhaps coming up here for England. Clive Woodward.
Austin Healy coming into the game, it would seem.
Yes, he warmed up early in the game, but Bracken stayed in.
And it looks like he's going to come on. Number 16, he's already been warming up somewhere on the field. And this is a bit of an interesting call because Adebayo, who's been aggressive in defence, is coming off. And Austin Healy, the scrum half who played against New Zealand for England emerging players, has come on as a wing substitute.
I think he's moved into first 5, and Cat has moved out.
Well, that wouldn't be surprised. Cat's played in 3 positions in his career. It's big Gareth Archer, but another penalty to New Zealand from this line out.
Yeah, this is dangerous. They took Jones down straight away. Forward replay. Can't do that. That's Archer. The All Blacks choose not to shoot for goal, and Mertens drives it 6 metres out from the England goal line.
So England won't be surprised to see Austin Healy on as a winger. There is number 16 to the right because he is quite a regular winger for his Leicester club as well as being a scrum half, and he was a replacement winger last week at Twickenham.
No scoring in the second half so far. Still 15 points to 3. New Zealand on attack.
Oh, and that was a penalty there against the treatment of Tane Randall in that line out.
It may well be a scrum call here. Marshall is going to talk to Delalio. That's 2 in a row. You can't take players out while they're in the air. They must wait for the line-out player to come down and touch the ground before they can put it on him.
Scrum, guys.
Scrum call.
England expected the scrum. They came forward quickly. So what about down the blind side, number 16 to face Jeff Wilson? It's all on here. Good scrum by New Zealand. Randall is at the back. Zinzan is off. That's perhaps a sign of the future.
Well, England will wheel this quite deliberately, I feel. The All Blacks have had the wood on them slightly at scrum time. That's all right. They've opened up just a blind side. It's a little bit bigger. It's 18 metres now instead of about 15. Cullen is up on the right, as you can see.
Mamu's in close out on the left wing, right alongside Bunce. What do you reckon?
Well, I think the pushover is the first option.
Yep.
Collapse at the front row. It's a free kick for New Zealand. And Ian Jones shouting across at the England players to keep it up, making a gesture. And they've gone for a scrum.
Absolutely. Right move again. They want to keep the pressure on.
Jason Leonard. So that's the goal line behind. Look at them digging into the Manchester United turf. Well, the soccer people won't like that. They came out at half-time in a big gang and tidied it up. We go to Wilson, and he's taken out by Austin Healy in the corner.
Very good defence.
Yes, it was. They read it well, but still, they've got to survive some pressure here, England. Austin Healy, the new man. Good slick hands. And Healy stayed in and then went out. Safe tackle.
I don't think Ryan Giggs and the boys will like that turf like that next week.
No.
So Cockrell against the backdrop of the huge stands here at Manchester United, Old Trafford. Martin Johnson. And there is Cat with another kick. Away to touch. And he finds it.
Well, they survived well there, England. Some real pressure from the All Blacks. Their defence is sure.
Marshall calls them into a huddle before the line-out.
Two great tiered stands on each side here at Old Trafford. We've been playing rugby here, sport here for over 100 years. Actually, the All Blacks played here a long time ago, way back in 1924. See it in the program.
Eremere's being subbed. McLeod goes on at second 5.
And so we've got 2 number 16s on the field.
We have, yeah. Hewitt's wearing 16 and McLeod's wearing 16.
Well, there's quite a bit of difference in pace, so I don't think we'll have any problem sorting them out.
It's not a great deal of difference in size. Scott McLeod is over 100 kgs. I think that's quite a good substitution, actually. Let's have a look now as goes to Mertens. Here's the first touch by McLeod. Lomu getting through. Oh, it took him 3 to get him down. It's presented well.
Kronfeld there quickly. Quick ball.
Quick ball. Flat pass to Randall. Now Robin Brook. Change of direction. Robin Brook on his own. There's the goal line ahead. Good aggressive run by Brook. And a bit of a...
We're in the same spot as we were a few moments ago. England killed the ball here, but look at Lomu. The 2 and 4 cut move straight through to Delalio. Hill comes to make the tackle. Healy's across in defence. Cullen sneaking up on the right again.
In the defence under real pressure. Not a great place to run from with all those scuffs in the ground, but they take it forward. And what's happening here? The England scrum has broken up completely.
Well, that's good refereeing. I'm glad to see that. England wheeled out and disengaged deliberately. The All Blacks were square. I've always thought that's been an anomaly in this law, and referee Marshall let the play carry on.
So here's real pressure from New Zealand. You know, with Randall at the back and Blowers on the side, with Zinzanbrook finishing his All Black career in a couple of weeks' time, this is the way it could look in 1998.
Well, that's possible. There's the England front row. More pressure being applied.
Look at that core force in the second row as they run, and Randall goes from the back, and Tane Randall scores New Zealand third. I think England were expecting it to go wide, but Tane Randall drives over.
And this is very cleverly thought out by the All Blacks. The pressure of the scrum was the key to this move. Forward replay. They went wide to stop Cullen. Randall just took off, put the hammer down. Good low body position, and he gets over. Let's look at it again. That time Hill went wide. Randall saw it and just went through the hole. John.
Very good finish. And that was 3 scrums in a row by the All Blacks, close to the line. Each one a different move. None of Merton's kicks have been easy today from the tries. That's better.
That's better. Very good goal by Mertens. It's now 22 points to 3. New Zealand over England. And 3 tries to 0.
Big Jonah has come back with a vengeance in Test Match rugby. Another indication of an immense strength of his as he wrestled his way through 2 tackles before being stopped close to the line. 22 points to 3. The All Blacks in front. The first scoring of the second half. It's taken a long time, but Randall gets the try converted by Mertens. 22-3.
It's a maul that went down. Neil back. Well, it's not surprising to see him on the wrong side of the ruck. He spends most of the time there.
So we're just past the 3/4 mark in the game. Delalio. Through he goes, the England captain. Floats it wide to Rees. Rees saw Lomu ahead, so changed his mind about approaching. There they go again. Bracken. Cat nudges it wide towards Healy. And a loose one claimed by de Glanville. Phil de Glanville. England's captain last year, dropped and now brought back again, scores their first try.
Well, they're delighted here at Old Trafford, and so they should be. England have worked hard in this match, particularly in the second half. Forward replay came from the loop around move of the Delalio. Ronfeld got caught on the inside. Lots of cover defence here from the All Blacks. They went to another phase here as Rees took it in. The option by Cat to go wide. Wilson looked to have it covered. In fact, he did. The ball just came in here, bounced free, went inside the cover defence, and de Glanville picked it up easy as you like.
Cat with the conversion, and it's not his day. He's certainly in the play a lot around the field, but it's 22 points now to 8. New Zealand coming back a little slowly, and Mike Cat having a mixed bag. But de Glanville, who was the captain last year, the loose ball here, he claims it on the forward replay. He was the captain last year, but when he was made the leader, promptly lost form, and eventually he was dropped. And Clive Woodward brought him back. Didn't bring him back as first pick.
Well, he's a smiling coach. He's delighted with that. 22 points to 8. Austin Healy keeping the ball in play, and eventually England get their first try through de Glanville. 15 minutes to go.
And there's Neil back.
They lost the ball forward in the tackle. The All Blacks will want to hit back quickly. Justin Marshall had the team in a huddle under the goalpost after England had scored. I'm sure he had a few harsh words to say.
Okay, here's... Oh, head high there by Cat. And he's making all sorts of sorry gestures, but that's a bad one.
Well, he knows it. Good on him for signalling early. Reflex action, really, in some ways, to come in. You've got a big man like Scott McLeod. McLeod, to his credit, didn't complain either. And I'm pleased the way Cat reacted. He acknowledged his mistake straight away.
shot at goal coming up for Andrew Mertens.
Well, this is, you can see the distance, about 30-odd metres. And just to the left of the upright, Scott McLeod on for Alama Yeremia. Here's Mertens, full of concentration. 3 from 5.
So we'll watch the reaction of the people behind. And there's a few Kiwis there because they signal the kick is good. And it's 25 points to 8 now. New Zealand in the lead.
So Mertens lands 3 from 5. It was 15-3 at the break. It's now 25 points to 8. The All Blacks 3 tries to 1. England very competitive. Zinzan Broekhoff with an Achilles strain. That's the reason Blowers is in the field at the moment. He's in the action immediately.
And he was grabbed before the ball came down. That's basic stuff. Penalty against...
Well, one of the England forwards.
Yep.
Interesting. Cat is kicking deliberately. Delalio, obviously, he's not happy with the call. But it's in the book, as they say. Mertens doesn't hit that well, but it's over the touchline, and that's the important thing.
Let's have a look. Blowers goes up here, and if you're in the air, you can't do the pushing. Well, there wasn't much in it, actually. He might have had a case for a rueful smile. Here's Tane Randall, assuming a greater authority with the Zinzan Brook off the field. And there's a good punch forward by Mertens. And Jeff Wilson putting pressure on Matt Berry. So New Zealand trying to spark it up for the last 50.
Yeah, plan move, short line out, hit the target in the middle, switch play, use the speed of Wilson. Cullen, you can see coming on the inside as well. England take it across. That's what the All Blacks were looking for, the line out throw.
They've just looked a little bit flat at times today, though, Grant, haven't they? This not quite that fluency that we've come to expect from them. But still, it's 25 points to 8, and they're hot at the moment.
And in they go. Everyone's in at the moment. It's down. And Marshall clears for Mertens. Out to Lomu. Lomu a loop past. It actually goes to Mertens in the end. Cullen. England defence is strong. Cullen.
Presents the ball so well, even in a hard tackle.
There's the Norm Hewitt getting it back for Marshall. Cullen on the left. Not passing much today, Cullen, but there's Olo Brown driving through. Some good vigorous play by Olo again. Marshall, Cockerell through on him. Lomu, caught by Johnson. No, he's not. They wrestle him to the ground. And what will New Zealand do here? The two captains arguing with each other here. It's not very nice.
It's not very nice. Big man against a little man, but Justin Marshall wouldn't back down, but he doesn't play like that. What is the call here from Marshall? Either a line out. It is a line out, I think.
So it's kicked away by Mertens. At least he found touch that time, Grant.
Well, not hard from that position. Jonah Lomu is coming up outside Andrew Mertens, so we're either going to see a drive. Ian Jones is at the back of the line out once again.
Yeah.
Look to him a little bit in this situation. Perhaps Lomu might come straight off the tail.
Down to Norm Hewitt. Tell you what, he just rolled it over the line. And what's the referee's call? Into touch, was it?
Into touch, England ball.
Well, this is intelligent play. Forward replay. Good on Cockerell there. In fact, I think England probably should have had a 22. The All Blacks will be quite happy to have a line out in this situation. They would have preferred the try, of course. But no, that's actually, no, the call's right, to be fair. An England player hit the corner flag. Hewitt was over the touchline.
25 points to 8, 10 minutes to play. There's Cocky Cockerell. Oh, a loose one taken by Greenwood. That's anyone is there.
There's a knock-on. Knock-on straight away by the All Blacks at line-out time, but good pressure.
I bet if Blowers had captured that, he could have just fallen through the hole.
They'll be looking for a lot of pressure. Scrum time here, the All Blacks. They'll try and get the head on. Just keep the pressure on and walk through it. England will just want to lock it up and let Cat get the ball to touch.
9 minutes to go till full time, 25 points to 8.
Delalio at the back. And Bracken gets it cleared and gets it away to Cat. Anything could happen the way Cat's been punting the ball today, but he gets that one. No, he doesn't find touch. It's with Christian Cullen now. And Cullen, will he pass it? He hasn't passed it today yet. And now the ball is with Robin Brooks, so there will be a good pass. Now it's with Marshall. And there's the little kick through out wide, and it's Reese now. And Wilson there with him too. So what do you think of that, Grant? Do you think he should be passing?
Well, he needed to let go there, but in that situation, he clearly didn't know a defender was behind him. He backs himself to beat the first tackle all the time. He did again, coming across the face of the England defence inside Greenwood. There was a defender coming here. He made the tackle. David Rees.
So New Zealand comfortably in the lead. Good pass this time goes to Scott McLeod, and he takes them on, and so does Frank Bunce. And they've got a midfield position here. And it's coming to Mertens. To Dowd. And a fight over the back between Neil Back and Frank Bunce, and Frank Bunce has lowered him with a punch. But Marshall runs to the line. Doesn't quite get there. We might have to look for the replay of that. Touch judge will be on the field, I'm sure. There could be trouble over this. Neil Back was sat back.
Wayne Eriksson has pointed it out to the ref. He's marching out now.
It was a tussle behind where the ball was.
Push from number 18 White to the chest, and number 13 Black. 12 Black,
Yeah.
12 Black.
No, he said 13.
Severe caution.
Who's the white one?
Number 18.
Number 18.
So Neil Back was on the receiving end of it.
18? Yeah, thank you.
I wonder if we'll see a replay.
18.
So Back is called out.
Well, you just let him go when the ball goes, okay? You're getting the penalty, so don't worry. But I want you to let him go, okay? Come here, please.
So now it'll be...
Your penalty, guys, I'm waiting.
Now it'll be Frank Bunce who's called out. So it was a great punch. Have a look at this. Look at this from Frank. What's this one?
Well, they got a short one in each, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, of course, we do not approve that sort of play. And Frank Bunce deserves to be cautioned over that one. And away it goes to the touch. But a white-hot battle going on here. 6 minutes to play. Neil Back, he plays a lot on the edge. And you can see the welling up on the right-hand side of his face as we look at it there.
Just 5 minutes to go now. 25 points to 8.
Get him right. Get him right.
3 tries to 1.
So 5 minutes to play. We wonder if New Zealand can just add a little icing to the cake here. The victory seems secure. And England have provided pretty stern opposition in the game. It's Cockrell. Here he goes. Galapal Carrickam.
What's the bet? He's got something to say after the game. He's full of beans, that boy.
Mike Catt, remember. Let's have a look at this run by Marshall. He was nearly in here while there was the fight going on in the background. And there's Matt Perry.
Well, I think Cockrell follows in the fine tradition of English hookers such as... who was it? 1993, Foxy, you'll remember.
Away goes to Lalio now. Garforth, they're going to play with a lot of spirit today. I think they'll be very pleased with themselves. There's Neil Back. Catt. Greenwood. Scrum for England.
Brian Moore was the man I was trying to think of.
Absolutely. There it is. Delalio went straight through the middle here. Good move by England, getting in behind the advantage line of the All Blacks. But instead of going wide from the second phase, they went back to the midfield set up again.
So the England team go into the huddle. They've put up a pretty good performance this afternoon. They're not going to win the game with only 4 minutes to play, but given the depression that was all over England rugby this week leading up to the game, with the huge margins talked about, I think that they'll be pretty pleased with this.
Well, I think so too. Even their strongest fans have been talking about this being an absolute hammering today, that they had no chance, but there's a lot of positives come out of this performance from England today.
Some good new young players emerging. Matt Perry back at fullback and Dave Rees.
And Will Greenwood at centre has had a fine game.
There's number 10, Mike Catt. He's in fly half, but I don't know whether it'll be fly half next week. He prefers centre. He's played for them at fullback as well. Now he's got it at fly 8th, and he sends a high ball towards Cullen. And it comes right down near the post, and Cullen comfortable. And there's it. One from the 22, which has gone to young Rees. And again, he seems to shy away from running at directly at Lomu.
Let's watch for the kick across again.
This is the one that got them the try before. And up goes Randall. Tap back to on the New Zealand side. The referee's got his arm out for an advantage.
Kronfeld had it going in.
He's been busy again, hasn't he, Josh Kronfeld? Yeah. Been everywhere. No surprise to see Cockrell.
He's taking Jones's souvenir before the game's finished. Souvenir jersey.
Imagine if Fitzy had been playing. It would have been an interesting contest.
Well, this guy said before the game he was very disappointed he wasn't going to play against Sean Fitzpatrick, but he's now had a good contest with Norm Hewitt, starting with that confrontation at the haka. Marshall to Mertens. We're in the last minute or so. Now Terry again. Now Terry's going to try and build it up, and he's flipped it to Reese. Reese caught by Jones, who's had a good game today. Ian Jones, halfway line. Neil back taking it forward. Run into Olo Brown, who turns him over, but it's coming on the England side. Somebody is down hurt there. Looks like
it's Perry.
It's yeah, Perry.
He was monstered in a big tackle.
Delalio's led well from the front too, and he's going well here. Lawrence Delalio, and there's Neil back, and he gives it to Cockrell, and he's certainly living up to his name. De Glanville, fast hands. Greenwood, and the All Black defensive patterns have it covered.
Well, Bunce just drove in there to knock the ball free from Cat, but England still have it.
There's Cat, another kick. Now Cullen's under this one, so is Randall. Should be Cullen's ball, and it's gone to Reese. Kronfeld has him. Cat. Here come England again. Healy the replacement. Back the replacement. Cockrell out there. De Glanville, who got the try. Here come England again. We're in injury time now. Delalio from Hill. Kicked away by Bunce. The referee has an advantage. And he's going to award a late penalty to England.
Jeff Wilson getting treatment, limping quite badly out on the right wing. He's gone to the ground. John Preston's going out.
Randall staggering back. And there they are. B Sky B here in Britain have maintained Randall the man of the match.
They're going for the scrum.
And England are going for the scrum. They've played with a lot of spirit here today. A lot of confrontation.
Well, they're in a good passage of play. The last 5 or 6 minutes, it's been all England. Lots of talk on the All Black defensive line as to who they're marking up. England have gone for a 3-3 split on the back line.
The hold-up is because the referee believes New Zealand are making a change, but Jeff Wilson's staying on. No, they're kicking him off. Justin Marshall has said, get off, Goldie, get off. So Preston comes in.
Well, Jeff Wilson goes off, Jeff. So there's Delalio now for the line, and in pass, and here's Cullen. Cullen, a little attacking kick. John Preston is on, and got close to the ball. He's only had 6 minutes of play on the field so far on the tour. So that's another one he's appeared in, and he makes a tackle that counts on Delalio.
Fiery finish by England.
It's going to be a great rematch in a fortnight with England getting this encouragement from the late rally in this game. Bracken to Hill, the new flanker they discovered last season. Now Kieran Bracken, who played in '93 when they beat New Zealand. So did Mike Cat. Then turned over for New Zealand. Marshall back to Preston. Preston's kick has gone to touch. This might be the end, and it is. It's a victory for New Zealand at the famous Old Trafford ground by 3 tries to 1 over a gallant England side. New Zealand scored good tries. The crowd have loved this game. It's an All Black victory, but Lawrence Delalio and the rest of the England team will be greatly encouraged for the rematch in a fortnight. 25 points to 8. Lomu, a very good return to Test rugby, and Mike Cat gave him a nice handshake and a pat in the back. Clive Woodward confidently running off the field. Richard Cockrell, a big personality in the game in the background. Grant Fox, we love being here at Old Trafford, didn't we?
Great atmosphere. Good performance by England. The All Blacks, I don't think, by their standards, will be particularly happy. They'll take the win. This is unusual to see. I'm cynical by nature. They're applauding themselves and they still lost. Forgive my cynicism.
Well, you think they'd won the way they're going on? The New Zealand team have headed to the dressing room. Richard Cockrell has got the England team in a parade up to halfway. And, well, you think they'd won the game. But let's look at the scoreboard. I'm sure it says 25 to 8 to New Zealand.
And the New Zealand side, who by their standards didn't play particularly well. Good start. And they muddled through 60-odd minutes, really. Part of it due to pressure by England. So an All Black side winning they won't be as happy as these guys are, and they lost by 17 points.
I think they're also paying tribute to the crowd support they got here, which was very, very encouraging for them.
Yeah, the music starts, and England, I think, greatly encouraged by their performance. You know, they've got this vision of this New Zealand team as the greatest All Black side that ever was, and I think that they're greatly satisfied and pleased with themselves for getting as close as 25-8. To them, it feels like some sort of victory.
Well, that guy's pretty happy.
There it is on the board, so they're looking up at the result. And the old land of hope and glory is ringing around the stadium. And look at them. They're going to go right around in a salute and a thank you to their supporters. And I suppose that's fair enough, but for a while it did look like a victory lap, even though the scoreboard says otherwise.